In this episode, we got to talk about one of my favorite charities in this entire fucking world called Give Kids the World. What better way to show we care for each other than to donate to a good cause?
It's such a great organization. They really help the families and their kids celebrate. They bring smiles to these wonderful kids' faces.
I really do love this charity. Give Kids the World hosts kids with critical illnesses and allows them to spend time with their families on a week-long vacation in Orlando, Florida.
Give Kids the World focuses on making every day the best day ever. Please consider sharing your love with this organization by going to gktw.org and donating. You'll be able to find a link to donate in the show notes.
I remember he was about, I think, 12 or 13, and we were at the endocrinologist, and the endocrinologist said, okay, well, we could do this or we could do that or whatever. And he got up at 12 or 13 years old and said, no, I'm done.
Good.
I'm not doing anything else.
What do you say as a parent to that when that happens?
You have a struggle, you have an internal struggle because you're like, okay, are we going to continue with this? Are we going to just, keep trying to fight it? Is this the right decision? I mean, He's not cognitively an adult. He doesn't understand, the consequences of making this decision. But we did have a conversation. Him and I went out for a date and had a really deep conversation. And he just said, I feel like God made me the way I am, and I'll deal with it as it comes. I'm not going to continue to go, because at the time it felt to him like one doctor would turn into two, and then two turn into three, and then three turn into four, and he's like, I'm just going to deal with it, because that's that internal fighter that he was born to be.
Yeah.
So you ponder it a little bit, and then you're like, all right, we're done with that, but what we are going to do is stay, you kind of, you give and take a little bit, because he starts to be able to advocate for himself.
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to ask is, like, how did you teach him to be able to advocate for himself? Because, as a parent, you want to make sure that he's making smart decisions, right? But at the same time, it's his body, right? And like, you can only take so much crap of poking and prodding. And I'm interested to find out, like, how you let him advocate for himself.
So I included him in the decisions. I as he got older, I realized my role was changing. My role was not, this is what we're doing and you will abide by it. When he wasn't old enough to help make those decisions. It was very much okay, here's what the doctor's saying. What are your thoughts? I wanted him to know that he had a voice as well, because this is, realistically, it's something he's going to have to live with the rest of his life. So, and a mom's not going to always be around. So he needs to learn how to advocate for himself. So I just included him in the conversations. I felt that it was very important. And he started to stand up and say, okay, we'll do this, but we're not doing that. So that was really, really good. I think that was a good mind shift, for him to, and it wasn't something that I consciously did. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to be a good mom and I'm going to include him. It was something, no, that is not how it happened at all. In the real Alex form, he made his point very well known to everybody. Good. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely. Like, hell no, we're done.
Exactly.
Deuces, I'm out.
Yep, I'm out.
Let's go to lunch.
Exactly. Just like that.
I'm hungry. Like give me food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ice cream, please.
Yes.
How did that decision, him advocating for himself, change what happened next? Was there any difference in how he was living his life, or how he had to go see more doctors? Like, did anything come of it?
Yeah, we dropped off quite a few of the specialists and have never turned around and gone back. I won't let him give up his immunologist. He knows that was the only thing I was not negotiating on, because, he's such a phenomenal doctor. It's a funny story. We went to Orlando one time because, like you, we do a lot with Give Kids the World and Make a Wish. We do quite a bit. Make a Wish has sent him like to several places, the Panthers game, stuff like that, that he can go speak kind of on their behalf and all of that stuff. It's been really a phenomenal relationship. And we try to get up to Give Kids the World a couple times a year and volunteer our time and give back. And it's been absolutely fantastic. He loves Give Kids the World. So we try to include him in his own health journey, right? And allowing him to make those decisions and such. So when he said we're going to go up and let's go volunteer, and we did, he wanted to go to, I can't think of the name of it, but it's where there's a place where you go and it's like it's called Medieval Times. That's what it is. You go and you eat with your hands, and then horses are battling each other, and it's indoors, and there's a bunch of like sand. So for somebody like him, I'm like, oh, well, this sounds like a trip to the hospital, Okay, so where are we going? Let me think. Celebration? Okay, they know you. They've got all your information. We're good, right? Like this is how you plan in your head. We get there, and we're waiting to get in, and his immunologist was standing in line with his family.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I was like, we're sitting with you. So if something happens, that's your responsibility. So we did. We sat with him and his family the whole time, and he ended up doing well. But his immunologist made everybody move their seats as far back as possible. Like we moved all the way to the back, So yeah, it was just really amazing how that happened. We've never gone back since, never. But it was a great time. Trying to venture out. It was like, wow, look, his immunologist is here. Perfect.
I would have looked at my mom like, yeah, this was an accident. Sure.
Sure. Yes. He thought I planned it. I'm like, I don't have his number like that. He's like, yeah. I was like, no. He looked at me like, gave me that look like, sure, you didn't plan this, Mom. I'm like, I really didn't. I really didn't. So yeah, it was really a really good experience for us, to have his immunologist there. And that's the only doctor I won't allow him to give up. And he knows that. So, and he's fine with it.
And he has brothers.
He does. And they don't have it.
And they don't have it.
And no? Is it genetic, or
it is
genetic?
It is genetic, yes. So, obviously this is not something, we're thinking from great grandfather or great grandmother and back, but it was something that they tested back then.
Like how would they know?
They wouldn't know. They just thought your kid was sick all the time.
Yeah.
They'd have no idea. But yeah, it is genetic, and the other two don't have it.
Wow.
So yeah.
I was just going to ask, like, how's his relationship with his brothers? Because I know that you've had to place a lot of focus on Alex his entire life. Did you get any pushback from the other kids, or were they helpful and understanding?
They were, I have to say, they were super helpful and understanding, and they have really just been like three normal brothers. And the point that Alex soaks up the attention and says, I can't help it. I'm her favorite, So, yeah, that is still to this day the relationship that they have. Still to this day.
I can do anything I want. I am Mom's favorite.
Exactly. Absolutely. There was one time we were here, and he just got sick super, super quick again. And he was getting sick on the front lawn, and I knew we didn't have time to drive him. And we called rescue, and rescue came and picked him up. And I was driving in the front of the ambulance because, they don't let you in the back with them. And so I said, can you please take us to our local level 1 hospital, Joe DiMaggio? And they're like, no, we won't make it.
Oh.
And I was like,
oh, wow.
Oh, God. That was the moment I realized how bad it was.
Holy shit.
So every ER has a room that has its own, ventilation, everything like that. That's Alex's room. He calls it his room. Like that's where he goes when he's in the hospital. But
Whoa.
the idea is to get him in that room, get him what he needs, get him stable, and get him out.
Right.
Because the hospital is literally the worst place for him.
Yeah.
Everybody there is sick. So this is that trip. We were in there, we were in the room. He had like so many doctors and nurses around him. And he just looked at me because he's like, are they going to take my blood? Are they going to give me an IV? And I was like, buddy, they are going to. I said, but you know how you always say, you're my favorite? Just keep thinking about that. And he goes, I am, right? I'm like, yes, you are. Let me tell you, when we got home from the hospital that night, he came in yelling at his brothers, Mom admitted it. Mom admitted I'm her favorite. So that is how the boys get along. They're like, no, she was lying to you because you were in the hospital. That's so that's how they get along.
Yeah,
Normal.
at least they don't sugarcoat it. They're like,
Oh no.
liar.
Exactly. She lied to you because you were in the hospital. That's why.
Oh my word.
Yes.
How do
So yeah.
you how do you deal? Like, do
Yeah.
you have therapy? Like, how are you getting through this? Because just hearing this, I'm like, oh, I can't imagine. Because you seem so happy and like not even like just, hey, this is what we're going through. Like very healthy in that mindset. And I'm just curious, how have you gotten to this point?
Yeah. So I did actually go to a therapist for a long time to help walk me through it. Like I said, my friends, my family, super supportive. Everybody was there. But for me, and I can't speak for others, it was great to talk to somebody that didn't know anybody,
Yeah.
to get that outside objective perspective. So not only did I have the therapist for me, but I also had one for him. So that way he could do the same.
Yeah.
So we both had therapists for a very long time that really helped us, see the positive and just stay, grateful for what we do have. None of us ever know, right? What's happening. Like I said, we do go back to give kids the world, and that fixes your perspective very quickly.
Yeah.
It really, really does. So, we just try to stay in the positive. There are times that, it does get dark. It
Yeah.
does get really tough. Like, an example in 2020 when COVID hit, that was tough. That was
Yeah.
tough because, so it was like, oh gosh, like just a regular cold hit is life threatening to him.
Yeah.
Now this, and we didn't know anything about it other than so many people were dying.
Yeah.
That was very, very, very difficult. But we were able to see his immunologist virtually. He kept us informed of what was going on, and we had to create an entire plan. So if
Wow.
he were to get COVID, try to get to this hospital. This is what they need to give him. They will reach out to me. I will meet you
Wow.
there. It was a whole plan. Yeah. And you have to update the plan as the strands change. So
Oh,
Wow.
it's not just a one and done. So we were able to stay positive because we would try to find the positive. So for me, it was the wow, look at this. Adults finally learn how to wash their hands. Like this is amazing. So I felt at the same time, although it was a difficult time for all of us, I felt like, let me look at the positive, right? The world is probably the cleanest it's ever been. People are actually washing their hands for 20 seconds now, you know? Um, so you may have the typical things in place where he knows, like he can't touch elevators, he can't touch, escalator handles, all of that kind of stuff that he just can't. It's just too many germs.
Can he get like flu shots and like vaccines?
It depends. So the flu shots, they typically will guess um, the four strands that they think are going to be coming. And so depending if by the time that we get fall down here in South Florida, we already know what's happening for all of the other people
Yeah.
in the world, right? Right, G-Rex?
Yes, so true. It's gonna hit us before it hits you. So yeah.
Exactly. So we already know how the flu shot is behaving and what it's really working and not working. So his immunologist will tell us every year whether it's worth the gamble for him or not, depending on how many strands the CDC guessed was correct.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, especially when you talked about COVID, because it was scary for everybody, but I can't imagine literally being in your position when that happened, and with what there was just so much unknown, and yeah, people are dying, and like, I mean, it's like the world is closing in, right? Like, it's like, oh shit, like this is crazy.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
did he got to attend some of his doctor's appointments virtually, but I think you mentioned he had to go and do blood every 3 months. So like, how did that change with COVID?
So yeah, his immunologist changed it to every 6 months at that time. It just was not worth the gamble of
Right.
him going there and getting anything. So he's like, oh, we'll hold off for right now. So it's quite a miracle for him, though. I could tell you, he's got a lot of people praying for him because according to his numbers, he should be getting the IVIG every single month, and clinically, he's doing amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
So has Alex had to ever like spend the night in the hospital?
hmm
And like, how does that work? Because we all know that hospitals are just one gigantic, germ factory.
They are absolutely. So they'll try to keep him into the ER at that 23-hour mark, 23 and a half hour mark in the ER in that room that we spoke about with
Mm.
its own ventilation, etc. And then they try to get him in the actual hospital. Obviously it's a pediatric hospital. And they try to get him in the pediatric hospital in same situation, places that are very sterile.
And do the hospitals have more than one of those rooms? Because I can only imagine that there's other kids out there that, like Alex, that
Yes.
need to be in that special room.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think so, yeah, they do. I think they typically have two of them. But yeah, they are reserved for people, with
Right.
conditions very similar. And the idea with people like him are to try to get him in and out. But when you can't, they will try to keep him in that room as long as possible. And then they will put him like on the floor, like as an example, with the cancer patients where there's not a lot of sickness,
Right.
that's going on. Obviously, again, he's not contagious to anybody. Everybody's contagious to him. So they just try to keep him somewhere that it's not all of the diseases floating around.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And like so resilient though, right? Like,
Yes.
you think about us, like when we get sick. Okay, when I get sick, I'm just a bitch. All right, I don't want to be I don't want anybody around me.
Ah,
Like, I don't want to eat any fucking soup. I don't. Yeah. So I can't. It's hard for me to fathom being that sick my entire life, right?
yeah.
And he's still like a productive member of society, and he's found his voice, and he's going to school, and
Yep.
I man, I commend him on that, because if it was me, I think I would have had a really hard time with that, right? Because of being an outgoing person and, wanting to, go out with my friends, go to the movies, touch all the buttons, touch all the shit I'm not supposed to touch. And now, here he is not being able to do that. So I totally commend you and your family and Alex. Like, man.
I feel like this is the perfect segue to intro Alex.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Now we can talk to you. Was it weird hearing us talk about you? Next.
No.
Oh, okay.
My whole life.
Oh. I mean, honestly, that kind of leads. The first question I was going to ask you is like, what is your earliest memory?
Oh man. Probably going to make a wish. I think it was that first memory. So at Give Us a World, when I went there the first time, I don't know that I remember the most. I was hanging around the koi pond because I like fish when I was younger. I still like fish. I remember hanging around and I met one of my friends there. And I think that was the first memory I ever had over.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you got to eat ice cream for breakfast, which, like,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Can't complain.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla.
Vanilla? That's
Yeah.
it?
Do you still do you, do you still eat ice cream for breakfast? Because I think that's a requirement.
No, I don't. I have no time for that in the morning.
What do your days look like now?
Days, wake up, go to school, come back, sometimes cook dinner, put the chickens
Nice.
up, do schoolwork, and
Chickens.
chickens.
Y'all got
Chicken,
chickens.
chickens.
Yes, chickens. 2 hens.
Wow. All
Oh,
right.
should I show my room?
Do it.
Yeah,
See it. Is there chickens in your room? Please tell me there's
No.
Okay.
No, it's a zoo.
Oh. Let's see.
this is so cool. Alex, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We normally just get to talk to the parents. So
That's no
getting,
problem.
Oh, I like the color.
So that's one fish tank.
wow,
Wow.
that's a big fish tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a wall. That's a fish wall.
I got another fish tank here.
Oh, good. I thought that was gonna be snakes for a second. I freaked
Yeah.
out.
Oh no, I have a little bearded
No.
dragon.
Oh, okay. I can do bearded dragons.
He's my little buddy. Mom loves him. And I got one more tank here with some other fish.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep.
Very cool. I would probably kill all of those animals on accident.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a saltwater tank in South Florida, and
Mhm.
I became very attached to. We had little shrimp, and
Oh,
they were my favorite thing because
yeah.
they were like the little puppies of like the saltwater tank.
Mhm.
They would we'd hand feed them. It was nice. I loved it. Anyhow, back to Alex. All right. So first memory, give kids a world. I have a question. Being that young, how long, I guess, how old were you when you fully started to understand what was happening and like how it was affecting you?
Around 10. Around when I start standing up for myself, it's like no more doctors. Around there. At that, so 12, mom said.
Man, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. And since you've stood up for yourself, how has it changed you?
More confident,
Nice.
not scared of who I am.
Yeah. There
Yeah,
you go. I love that. Good job, Jen.
yeah. What a good mom. So, Alex, I know that you like having this disease and everything, and it kind of limits what you can do. I mean, do you ever get afraid when you're like out with friends or trying something new that maybe you shouldn't be doing that? Does your disease hold you back from wanting to try new things like that?
No, it really don't scare me at this point. God has a plan for me. Whatever happens, happens.
That's
I can't
That's
be scared of the
powerful.
world. The world can't. I'm not scared. I can't be scared of the world, or it will crush me.
Yeah. I mean, you're further along in that than I think most people. Like a lot of people are afraid and don't have nearly as many reasons to be. So that's huge. I have a question, and if it's like too deep, you don't have to answer it. But I'm very curious on what is next for you. Like how far do you think in the future of like things you want to do? Is there a limit, or are you just like, hey, this is what I've got planned for myself next?
I'm thinking about after high school. I'm thinking I'm just take over my grandfather's business, air conditioning.
Nice.
So I'm gonna get in trade school.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
that's cool.
And he's going to do that so that he can have more fish tanks.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of expensive stuff already. It's horrible. It's addiction.
That's
So,
funny.
like Alex, what's the like? And if this is too personal, you don't have to answer. But what's like one of the scariest things that you've had to go through? But when you came out on the other side, you were like, I lived, I'm lived, I can see another day.
Probably was that one time where I think I had a bad case of the flu. That one time scared me. I felt like I was gonna die or something. And I was younger then.
Do you
I
remember how
still
old you were?
I don't know. I remember that one time when we were at the how old was I when that bad one and I would start crying? 9.
Wow, 9 years old, and you felt like you were dying.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you didn't. So you recover. How do you recover? Like, how do you come to terms with that?
Sports and fishing. That's what I did since I was started when I was 4. Me and my godfather, my grandpa. We've been going fishing. That always helped.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep me busy.
Okay.
Get
That
you
was
out of
something
trouble.
that his pulmonologist recommended, was that when he was to start to feel like he was getting sick, take him to the ocean, because that salt air would help clear him up. And if possible, put him in the actual water. So my dad, his grandfather, and his godfather would start to take him fishing, so he's around that salt air the entire time. So that's where he's grown to love fishing. And obviously with all the fish tanks, you can see why.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
I
cool
was
to
just
know.
gonna ask if like he could swim, because I know, like, for me with my allergies, I have horrible allergies. And the one thing that they always told me, especially when I lived in South Florida, is get out in the ocean, right? Get some of that salt water in you. Have a humidifier, do all that other crap.
Mhm.
Now that I'm up here in upstate New York, I don't have that, so I use a lot of saline spray. But I was just gonna ask, like, as a form of good exercise for him, to at least get in the water, right? And work out some of those muscles, work out some of that anxiety, and and maybe some sadness too, right?
Yeah.
Like, trying to figure out, hey, what's my next step? Because this kind of sucks, and all my friends don't have this, and I just want to feel normal.
Yeah.
So, Alex, that's my question for you. I had to mute you because we had double talk. But how do you deal, or if you even do, how do you deal with your anger, if you have that, towards not being able to do some of the things that your friends are doing, or things that your brothers have done, or things that your mom does?
The way I usually do it is probably like lifting weights or like doing push-ups at night and just save it for later, or wait till I go fishing and release it there out in the ocean. Or what else? Or sometimes I just hold it in too much and I break down one day. That's really it.
Yeah. Do you stop yourself from doing the things that you want to do? Or do you go for them?
Oh, I I can I do what I have to do. At this point, I'm just trying to enjoy life as best I can. So
Yeah.
I have nothing's gonna stop me. So, and I always try to be considerate of other people's time too, and I
Yeah.
try to help around best I can.
Yeah. Is there anything that like you want to do that you either can't or haven't tried yet?
Um, I, I was like,
Please don't say skydiving. Don't say
Well, I don't think
skydiving.
I was like, I bet it's not getting a tattoo because that's needles.
no, that's later.
Yeah. henna tattoos.
That's mom. I don't do henna tattoos.
Mom's a chicken too.
So, like, so you're gonna take over your grandpa's business, and but can you play sports, or are you just trying like stay away from all things like that?
No, I can play a little of everything. I always tried every sport. The only sport I really didn't play when I was younger was baseball. I tried soccer. I think I tried soccer, mom, or no?
Yes.
I tried soccer when I was younger. I played football. That was one of my favorite sport was football, and I was really good at football. Um, what was sports about? I tried basketball one year, and at school I usually play basketball for fun over there. And football I haven't played yet for high school because when I was playing basketball one last year I broke my kneecap, so it's
Oh,
okay.
How?
my word.
How?
It's not like broken. It's like chipped. It just hurts to walk sometimes.
Yeah, it's just they really break. It just hurts to walk a little bit.
I'll be all right.
So questions, playing sports, you talk about like trying basketball, football, you're touching balls that other people are touching in the sport. Is it just a lot of washing your hands and like just staying safe that way, or is there anything else that you have to do?
No, I play sports and I wash my hands usually after.
Yeah. Okay.
I try to keep my hands away from my face. That's at most.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not completely like debilitating, right? Like you can take measures without having to be in a
Yeah.
bubble.
Yeah. Ideally, they want him to be in a bubble.
Yeah.
Um, but but I just can't with his personality.
Yeah.
There's no way.
No.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way. So he does try, like you said, he tries everything. I mean, when he played football, it was flag football. But he's never played in high school because there's no more flag football in high
Right.
school. You have to play tackle. So he was like, nah,
Yeah.
never mind. Yeah, never
Yeah.
mind with that. So there is limitations, but he's not afraid to try anything, and I allow him whatever he wants to try. Obviously with limitations and stuff, but
Yeah.
he does try it.
And how's the school been with all of this? From the time he was first diagnosed to, he's going to graduate this year, right?
Yes. So school has been definitely challenging. Once you start to miss too many days of school, they start to say, we're going to subpoena your absentee records, which I get, right? They don't know, are you missing because you're being abused or what is happening at the home. So, you just like one or two times I had to prove to them, with all of my 6-inch binder that he really, does have an immune deficiency and this is what's going on. He really is sick, and all of the information from the hospital and the doctors and stuff, and then they did, get it. But because of this was happening, as he was really sick, close to the second grade, he started to get like splinter skills. So when you go to the hospital, they have a teacher there that is willing to teach you. But I'm sure you guys have been sick before, and nobody's interested in learning anything
Right.
when you're not feeling well. So he had what they refer to as splinter skills. So you learn one thing, you're missing another. You learn another thing, and you're missing another. So we held him back in second grade. So he's 18, but he's graduating this year, which will be wonderful. But the school has been as understanding as they can be about it. They've, allowed him to bring his medication to school as he needs to, because obviously, he has, a puffer that he can use while he's at school and all of that. They've been very, very understanding once they understood his diagnosis.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've been very, very understanding.
Man.
And as far as work goes, I mean, have you had to use FEMLA or any of those programs that are available to help take care of Alex?
I have not. I've been so grateful to have such amazing people around me that there's no question. Everybody jumps in, covers my role, whatever needs to be done. So I have not. I mean, where I work, I have unlimited, PTO. So I've been really grateful for that. But like I said, he's older,
Mhm.
and he's been clinically doing really, really, really well. Nothing like we experienced when he was younger.
That's great.
So, through the years, even though his immune system isn't, building like you would think it should and be built at this age, he's clinically doing well. And I can just say that's because, he's older, he's able to advocate for himself, and he's able to, do all of the precautions that he needs to. Like he said, keep his hands away from his face, wash his hands as much as possible, wear a mask where, it might not be popular anymore, but we go places,
Yeah.
we still wear masks and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah.
It-
So he's good.
And with the advancements in medicine, every year they come out with new stuff. Is Alex available for like any clinical trials or anything that might, just help him out a little bit?
Yeah, so he was. I mean, they had reached out to him several times. They would, try to do some clinical trials and things with him, especially with like stem cell and stuff like that. But that was getting around the time where he was like, I'm done. I've been poked and prodded my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. So he has just maintained that attitude of I'm respectful of his immunologist, and he does listen to his immunologist, but doesn't really want to listen to anybody else. He doesn't want to see any other doctors. He doesn't really want to do anything. But if, anybody is sick, or, like I said, we do a lot of volunteering for Make-A-Wish and for Give Kids the World. He would do anything for anybody there. But as far as his own personal health journey, he's pretty much at his limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alex, I have one last question for you that I have been thinking about since we talked to your mom before. You're 18 now. My question is, and it might be personal, and you don't have to answer it. We can edit it out. Do you see yourself getting married one day? Because that's germs, right? Like, you're now introducing another person into your life. I'm just curious, like, do you think about that at all?
I think when I get old, a little older, I maybe find somebody. It all depends if you find the right person. At the end of the day, if I find somebody, yeah, I might get married.
Nice.
That's really cool. I have to commend you, Alex. I commend you. Like your inner strength and just everything about you. Man, you have more strength than I think most adults have. And I love that you've been able to speak up for yourself and find your own journey. And wow, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for being a part of this, Alex. Jen, thank you for opening up and sharing your story with us too.
It still is a village. It really is a village. You have your ebbs and your flows, but if you put the right people around you, G-Rex, to your point, taking care of yourself first so you can take care of them. He's old enough now, he can advocate for himself and try to live the best life that he possibly can.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.